Cool, right, I'm going to press go now.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the 1 o'clock session. My name's Graham, I'm the Cornerstone Business Manager. I'm here this afternoon to introduce to you Michael Hurd. Michael works for an organisation called SCOMIS, which he joined back in early 2018 as an education business partner. Prior to that, he spent about 7 years with Capita, so has a wealth of knowledge in this field. As well as his roles and responsibilities with SCOMIS, Michael is also a school governor, which gives him a further insight into what we all do. This session is called Hosting Your MIS in the Cloud to Increase Productivity and to Keep Your Data Safe. And during this session, Michael will be talking about empowering staff to have access to the MIS system. Managing school data is increasingly important, of course, and this session will focus on how to remove the burden of managing all the elements of that process. If you have any questions during Michael's presentation, please feel free to ask them on the question bar, and we will store them up and Michael can address them at the end of his session. So without further ado, thank you for joining the session, and over to Michael.
Thank you, Graham, for the introduction. Hello, everybody. So, as Graham said, this is a session about hosting your MIS in the cloud to increase productivity and to keep your data safe. As Graham did a fabulous introduction, so I am the Education Business Partner for SCOMIS. I'm here to find gaps in our portfolio and help schools make sure that they can deliver the critical and core systems that they need when they need them. First of all, I just want to explain about who the SCOMIS group are and you know what do we do. So we're a specialised ICT SIM support unit providing products and services to organisations within the education and local government sectors. SCOMIS is split into 3 organisations. So we've got SCOMIS Education, and we support over 750 schools across 32 different local authorities, and that includes maintained schools, single academies, and multi-academy trusts. On top of that, we've also do the SCOMIS corporate IT, so we look after all the government for Devon requirements for IT. So we look after approximately 6,000 plus users and devices, and we also are responsible for the customer service centre. So any Devon citizens have any queries about anything, they can call the helpline, and it will be one of our representatives there that will support. We are a not-for-profit organisation. We're a wholly traded service, and we are part of Devon County Council. So SCOMIS was set up back in the 1980s, and since then we've taken a fabulous journey to where we are to date in terms of what we are doing with schools and what services. And this particular service that I want to talk to you about today was born out of a need from a rural school. In terms of our awards and accreditations, we are a full SIMS accredited support unit. We are the largest one in the UK. The customer service excellence, we strive for everything that we do. We're an SDR approved support desk as well, and we also hold all the correct certification for data, which is ISO 27001. We're also partners of ISBL and BISA, and we attend events and support those organisations too. And we are also Better Award winners from 2016 for the support that we provide to schools. And we were a finalist this year. So let's step into the hosted application service. So SIMS is normally a based application that is located on a server, sometimes in a school. Now, lots of Devon schools that over the years may have subscribed to the service, and I'm going to talk a little bit about more of what else you can do with our hosting, because we've made some changes this year. But if you're a school that has SIMS located on the server somewhere, this is absolutely for you. So we have our own private cloud in Devon, and we decided to take that approach because if we go back to the 90s, we had a school that couldn't afford a server, that needed some additional support. So one of our IT gurus came up with a way to virtually host SIMS for this small little school. And then other schools found out about this, and of course the service is now grown into a full enterprise system as it is today. So we have over 650 schools that are actually using our service. Now that can be from a small 30 on roll primary school to well over 2,000 at a secondary school. So we're happy to cater for both. And in terms of that as well, we have over 12,000 users in the actual platform that can log on or off. And the system is absolutely fully managed as well. So it will deal with all the upgrades. We take care of all any patches that need to go into the software, and we take care of all the backups, because what a system should be able to do for any teacher is be able to be a critical core system that's accessible 24/7, making it really easy. So having your MIS in the cloud basically removes school-based servers, latest hardware, and all you basically need is an internet connection, which will provide a secure, seamless access to anytime, anywhere. And we've just introduced to a whole range of devices this now works on, so it's not just a PC. And I'll go into that in a bit more detail. Now, of course, when it comes to working with SIMS, schools buy other applications that need to take the data, because all the core information sits in SIMS. We've got no problem with that as well. So you can still put your MIS, your SIMS MIS, in our cloud, and we can certainly support making sure that those other applications will run. And as part of that service as well, there's just no hidden costs in what we do. It basically is an unlimited user base. So you can have as many people accessing the system. Doesn't matter if it's a classroom teacher to an administrator to a head teacher. We make no provision around capping users. And of course, I mentioned earlier on, we hold the ISO 27001 certification, so we make sure everything we do is GDPR compliant, and that's what drives us to make sure that we've got a very good, solid application. And in terms of feedback, for more than 16 years, SCOMAs have invested in a program of technical development and continuous service improvement, and that's been true. So this is a product that is continuously investing in every year, investing in security, investing in the infrastructure, the capacity of the backup, making more improvements to deliver to schools in a better way. We just want to make sure that if someone wants to have access to their system, you just log on, put your username and password in, and it's working. And our service, you can be confident that it's been designed to meet the robust and resilient future-proof. So if there's another piece of software that comes on the market and is compatible and meets the capital requirements for taking data from SIMS, we've already put that in place. Now, how do you access this? So from our side, we have created a tool called the SCOMAs Connector. The SCOMAs Connector, and I will demonstrate this live shortly. What you're able to do is when you open the application on a PC, you are then presented with this option. So you can clearly see straight away that the service is operational. We're very clear and very transparent about anything that's happening on the platform as well, and we also give you lots of updates. I'll come back to that again in a bit. And all from this particular option, you can click connect, put your username and password in, and from that point of view, it will then launch into the SIMS system. Now, there's kind of a couple of ways we can access this. So if you're also using a Mac or you're using a Google device, a Chromebook, there are other ways that we can help you gain access to that. And we have plenty of FAQs on that, and our help desk will be able to support users to get that set up. But this will give you full access, so it's exactly the same experience in terms of uploading files or printing and hosted. And all you need is an internet connection. That's all you need. In terms of more feature developments that we've actually done, we've had this now for a couple of years. We're actually seeing staff move from school to school. With the transition of multi-academy trusts, we know that staff have become quite mobile, or you have data managers or teams that want to access school data sitting at the multi-academy trust. Now, we have something called a school chooser. So if we know that you need to access school A and B and D, but not C, we can set that up for you. We just need to be very aware of what that needs in terms of the user and the credentials that go behind that. We can make that happen, and then when the user logs on, you can then actually see this particular option. And again, I'll demonstrate that shortly. And one of our next enhancements that we've actually done is we've been able to now put Sims in a web browser. It's still using the same technology. We're still using the way that we do it in terms of with a remote desktop connection. And here I've got Chrome, but I've actually got Sims running. The only difference is I can't upload files and I can't direct print to a printer. That's the only difference. So if I need access, I can easily do it straight through a device with a sizable screen and an internet connection. And this is available to anybody, so you don't need to sign up for this or request access. It's part of the service. While I've also been talking about Sims, I also do need to explain that we do support FMS, and we also do support Sims Discover as well. Okay, so let's just drill down a little bit more detail in terms of the features and the benefits. Why choose hosted? Why should I take my Sims offsite and give it to someone to manage? Well, it's making sure people can access the right tools at the right time. And with the recent events that's actually happened, lots of our customers have actually realized that they've kind of taken this service and just been using it. It's been very straightforward. So all they need to do is just log on and connect. And we're still maintaining the platform remotely, and we're still making sure that all the connectivity has been there as well. And I mentioned earlier on about PCs and Apple devices. So again, we can make this service work on many devices that either through a web browser or through a remote desktop connection. And from the user itself, we want to be able to give you the ability so that you can actually check and update your password, or the administrator at school could add a new user and give access to a new user, so that you don't have to keep phoning a helpline or waiting. We've kind of given the power of that now back to schools so that that experience can be done with ease. And in terms of taking your Sims offsite, from our point of view, because we take care of all the upgrades and we take care of all the backup, from an IT perspective, it's just making sure that you need to make sure that the third-party applications are working. We'll happily do all the upgrades. We'll happily apply any patches or anything that's needed bespoke or standard for your particular school. And of course, if you need to roll back any data at any time, we can easily do that with our systems that we've got in place, and we can easily make your school go online or offline. In terms of upgrades, we do those on a Friday at 6 o'clock, and we plan a weekend. Usually it doesn't need that amount of time. We can normally get you operational by late Friday evening, but we allow the time just in case anything goes wrong, just in case. It never has, touch wood, and we can easily roll that back. So all of our customers are on a Friday upgraded to the next release. By Monday morning, they're still operational and taking the register or doing what they need to in Sims. Now, I mentioned earlier on about third-party applications. So lots of schools use various different ones. Always new ones come to the market. Again, we'll happily make sure there's the mechanisms are there to take the data in the right way that Capita set out. So we host Group Call, we host Wand, we have an external connector if it's a product that doesn't actually use those. So again, we can provide that as part of the service. Now, I mentioned earlier on as well about there's no hidden costs, and there isn't. It's a flat subscription with unlimited users. In terms of high availability, our customers set our KPIs, which they would like to be up 99% of the teaching day, and it's our own private cloud, and we exceed that. We have a target of 99%. We reach 100% year on year. And in terms of support, of course, if you need any help with your host application service with SCOMAs, you can give our help desk a call, and we will certainly help you with your hosted query. You got to see earlier on the multi-school connector, that's what we call the school chooser. So again, that's available for multi-academy trusts and federations. And of course, it's really powerful where we have staff that are mobile. So if they go from one site to another and they still need to access school A system or school C system, we can set that up. We want to make sure teachers are there to do the teaching and enter the information at the appropriate time. And of course, we mentioned earlier on as well about GDPR compliance and data security. You know, as we are the processor, SCOMAs complies to GDPR, and we do hold the ISO 27001 accreditation. That gets reviewed, and of course, all our testing for compliance, we get that done on a regular basis as well. So, a lot about the product, and let's actually show you how it works. So here I've got an application called the SCOMAs connector. So I've loaded it up, and what it's now done is remember my username. So I'm just going to put my password in there. So all our usernames are a first name dot surname and then a random number. So I'm just going to put my password in. What it actually does is when I click login, it actually verifies that first before it actually launches the service. That's now launched the service for me. There we go, and of course I've read the important notice and I continue. And at this point, this is the school chooser. So I'm set up in various schools. I'm set up in 4 different schools, so I can pick which SIMs I'm going into. So I'll go into this one and click connect. And it's going to give me a reminder about my password because it's now coming up for renewal. So here I can actually pop in my old password. And again, all this is done from a customer's point of view. We follow strict guidelines on the password reset policy, which is approximately 42 days. And as you can see on the screen as well, I do have, I've got to have a minimum of 8 characters. I've got an uppercase, lowercase, and a special character and a number as well. Just making sure that's correct. There we go, that's just verified. Click change my password. And it's successfully done. So I'm good now for another 42 days. There we go. And this is a screen that I'm sure many people are aware of. And here is SIMS. So it's exactly the same as you would be opening it directly on your computer. There's no difference. The only difference is we've just put it into a virtual cloud. So in terms of going to an attendance or running a report, I've still got all the same options, all the same permissions, absolutely everything that I would have locally at a school. And of course, I mentioned Discover earlier on, so I can literally just click here and load Discover. And there we are, it's just loaded up. I'm doing this remotely, by the way, so I'm actually working from home. So you can see that I'm actually on a live connection, so I'm not actually in our office. So I can pull out everything and show you it's working in real time. There we go. And in terms of FMS would be over here on the applications. I can click, I should be able to click that, but in my demo set, I don't actually have it connected. It will then launch. I put my username and password in, and I can have FMS connected remotely as well. So that's one method. So I'm just going to log out. And I'm going to show you the second method, which we introduced this year. So I'm just coming out of a remote desktop, and I'm just going to bring on a web screen, a web browser. So this is Chrome. So I'm just going to pop in my password. Like so. And there we are, I'm now logged in. And if I click Sims, and bear in mind, this is Chrome. So I'm in a browser at this particular point. So it's just now making the connection. And you'll see in just a second it will load back up. All familiar screens in terms of a workflow perspective. And there we go. Of course, I've just read the important notice again. I can still use the school chooser. So just to show you this time, I'm going to go into the secondary database. There we go, and click connect. And again, it's now loading the Capital Sims product. And then from here, as you can see, I've still got the same Sims that we all know. So from here, I can load Discover, I can load FMS if I had it. I could also go, run a report. I can still do what I need to do if I was a teacher using this, or if I was a senior leader using this particular product. Okay. So let's come back to the presentation. Now, I've just shown you how the two methods for connectivity. So we can go through using the connector tool. If you're using a Mac, we will be able to help you using some different configuration. Or we've got the web client that I've just shown you there. So all methods lead back to giving you access of what you should be doing in terms of accessing your data or analysing the data. But another question that we get asked a lot is, well, how do you monitor the platform? Well, on the platform itself, we have a service data page that's available for anyone to click subscribe, and you'll find us on the SCOMIS website, and it will show when we're doing upgrade, any planned operational need or requirement, and you will be alerted. So when we do that, so in terms of upgrades, we give you approximately 2 weeks worth of notice. So if you subscribe to that service, you would know that, and of course other services as well. But one of the key things we do internally and externally is we have a bunch of tools that our infrastructure team can actually see. So this is a mock-up screen. So this will actually show us how many users are on the system itself, and in terms of what's the internet traffic like, how many users we've got coming in, which direction they're coming in. So it gives us a lot of intelligence about what's going on our platform, so we can see all of this before any problem arises. Now, I mentioned earlier on about the actual service performance. Now, what we try and do is, our customers are very important to us, and what we want to be able to provide is a solid system so that when teachers enter the school and leave the school, they've got a core critical system up and running. So our KPIs are set between 8 AM and 6 PM during term time. Our target is 99%. Now, as you can see here for 17-18 and 18-19, we've had an uptime with no issue. And our platform is 24/7, 365, and the platform is also monitored out of hours as well. And as I mentioned earlier on about the upgrades, it's very clear here that we complete those on a Friday at 6 o'clock in the evening. We conduct that overnight, and by the weekend, or planned contingency for the weekend, and everyone's operational. So if the upgrade is successful, which they always are, because we do a lot of testing prior to that, people can actually access the platform either very, very late on Friday or early Saturday morning. So if you've got any questions, this would be the perfect time to raise them. And I've left my details on the screen, so if anybody would like to get in contact with me directly, I'd be more than happy to speak with you. If you're after any pricing or any further information, again, myself and my colleagues will be able to provide that for you.
Thank you, Michael. There's a couple of questions actually. What percentage of your customers choose the hosted option?
So out of the so it's about 640, and we have I would probably say about 80 to 85% of our customers have hosting.
Okay, that's obviously very high.
Yeah, so So we've got about a customer base of 740-ish numbers.
Yeah. Okay. And then another question starts with, sorry to ask, but is a hosted service very expensive?
So the way it works is based on your pupil numbers. So if you're a large school, then of course the cost does increase. However, what you need to weigh up is how much time would your IT spend to deliver this service through schools. Now, mentioned earlier on that my background is working for Capita, and I know many schools that don't have hosted services, and an upgrade can take anything from a few days to a few weeks, making sure all workstations are operational because some staff aren't logged on, for example, or so forth. But with this, it's applied for you. Everything's done at the same time. You don't need to worry about anything on your MIS because that's why you're buying that particular service. Now, in terms of the cost, if you want to take my details and get in contact, I'd be more than happy to provide you a quote. No problem at all. Graham, you're a user of our service.
We are indeed.
And how do you find it?
Well, the hosted service is a blessing, really, because we, for one, we know we're 100% up to date on any upgrade. That's one good advantage. The fact that it's not eating up a lot of our resources in terms of space on our servers, another one. And also, the minute we got the drop-down access per school, saves so much time in terms of the logging in and out of separate systems. So, yeah, big fans.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot there.
No, that's right.
Thank you for that. And I would also say as well, Graham is a great advocate of the service. We have many other customers that are, and we would be more than happy to put you in contact with anyone, not just within Devon, but we have many customers around the country. So we are in 33 other local authorities. So I'm sure I can find, if you're not a school that's in Devon, I can find somebody for you to have a conversation with.
I think that's a good point, because particularly if you're a local school to ourselves here in Exeter, you will know SCOMIS well or know of them, but you don't always realise how far their reach goes across the country. It's not just a southwest thing. So yeah, good point, Michael, and I think it's worth people realising that as well. So fantastic. There are no more questions, so it remains for me to say thank you to you, Michael, for your session today and the one you did yesterday. Thank you to those of you online. In about 15 minutes, the penultimate session starts on the Business and Admin channel. There's a very interesting session with one of my colleagues, Michael, not a different Michael this time, regarding effective project management with Teams, Planner and Microsoft To Do. That's well worth looking at. And followed by at 2:30 a presentation from Richard Grazier talking about the management of time using some very efficient tools to assist you. And then we close at 3:15 with a closing keynote from Mark Sparvel from Microsoft. So once again, thank you to everybody, Michael and everybody online, and see you on the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Graham.